My doctor at the time had basically said on my last thing, like, well, you just can't get pregnant like naturally. Sorry, it's just not going to happen, obviously. And I thought, like, you can't tell me I can't not do something, right? So I did everything in my power. And then what do you know, like 2 weeks before the race that I wasn't going to, that I really wanted to be at, I found out I was pregnant. And it was like such a cool
Wow.
thing to learn that not only like am I achieving my goal, get to do the thing that I wanted most of all, but it was the learning of like that belief in yourself and in the process that like I'm not going to take your word that this isn't going to work out, that I can't do something. I'm going to find a way. So that challenge actually pushed me through so much more mental strength in everything I've worked towards since, because I'm like, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Welcome to the Self Care Goddess podcast, where healing stories, practical self care strategies, and science backed tools to regulate stress, feel calm, grounded, and energized come together to help you reclaim your vitality. I'm your host, Rita Savoya, holistic nutritionist, trauma informed breathwork coach, and founder of Breathwork Barista. This podcast is for women who are ready to restore their energy and radiance, reconnect with their bodies, reawaken their inner power, and redefine self care as a way of being. Through science meets soul practices, restorative mind body tools, and real stories of transformation, we'll explore how true well being can help you live with more joy, vibrant health, and authentic connection to yourself and those you love. Take a deep breath in, let it go, and let's begin. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Uplift Her Leadership Series, a special segment of the Self Care Goddess podcast. And I am super excited to share her journey today. But as you know, on this podcast, we're going to walk the talk. We're going to give ourselves a couple of moments to just really tune in with our bodies using our breath. So I invite you, if you are comfortable doing so, lowering your gaze or even closing your eyes to really tune out what is going on around you, what you've done before this, what you're going to be doing after this. Just literally come here now. Be in the moment by following your breath, flowing in of your nose, expanding the chest, and then letting it go with a slight sigh through the mouth, a little longer than usual. Inhaling, feeling the expansion of the belly, the rib cage, the chest, opening yourself up. And then on the exhale, just slowly letting it go. Letting go of anything that feels heavy, whether it's an emotion or a thought. Just letting it go with each and every exhale, allowing each and every exhale to perhaps let go of any physical tension, stress, tightness in a particular part of your body or in your body, in your whole body. Inhaling, feeling the slightly warmer air entering or cooler air entering your nose, and then feeling that slightly warmer air as you slowly exhale through the mouth. I now invite you to focus your attention in the area of the heart. So allow the inhales and exhales to flow into this beautiful organ that's keeping you alive. And in this moment of immense gratitude for your heart, I invite you to visualize someone that you're grateful for today, living or past. Visualize this person as if they were right here in front of you. And I invite you to radiate all the love, the gratitude, and the appreciation from your heart to their heart. And on your next inhale, send that love back to you. Send it back to your heart. Feel it warm your heart with self-love and appreciation for being here, doing the work, taking some time out for yourself. Much deserved, but very difficult to find that time. So I also applaud you for being here. On your next inhale, flutter your eyes open and come back to us. Thank you for participating in that quick coherence technique. Really fast way to get into coherence and really fine tune that connection between the body, the mind, and the heart. So today's guest is an absolute force of nature on and off the water. I am thrilled to welcome Ariel Amaral, a world-class stand-up paddle athlete, mother of two, longtime Team Canada competitor, community leader, and a woman whose spirit is as powerful as her paddle stroke. Ariel has been racing internationally for close to 15 years and has represented Canada on the global stage for a full decade. Her accomplishments are extraordinary, including a silver medal at the 2024 ICF Stand Up Paddling World Championship in Sarasota, multiple national titles, and countless podium finishes across distance, technical sprint, and SUP, which is stand up paddle surf disciplines. She continues to dominate in the Canadian race circuit, winning the 2025 Toronto Indoor SUP race, the 2024 Ontario SUP series, and the famous Mammoth Marathon around Toronto Island. She's also one of the first women to ever cross Lake Ontario, paddling an incredible 65 kilometers, and has spent years coaching and uplifting others through programs like Olympia Sports Camp, Women on the Water, and SUP and Soul Yoga Teacher Training. And if that isn't impressive enough, she also gives back tirelessly, raising over $115,000 for the Canadian Cancer Society through Paddle for the Cure, paddling with kids on the autism spectrum with Aloha Toronto, and being nominated for SUP's Connects Women of the Year. But beyond her accolades, what I personally admire most about Ariel is her mindset. She recently just finished third out of 50 women in 15th overall out of 117 paddlers at the iconic 52-kilometer Chattajack race, paddling for nearly 6 hours along the Tennessee River. And the most beautiful part, she raced exactly as she had visualized during our breathwork session together. So I'm super, super happy about that. And anchored in her mantra, joyful resilience. Ariel also carries a magical personal story. She was named after the Ariel Square 4 World War II motorcycle and after the mythological spirit in Shakespeare, A Midnight Summer Dream. And yes, she absolutely lives up to both names. Her guilty pleasure is getting lost in audiobooks, and her life theme song, if there was one, Feel So Close by Calvin Harris, which makes perfect sense for a woman whose energy, presence, and passion are impossible to ignore. So please welcome a true SUP mermaid, an extraordinary athlete, and an inspiring example of what's possible when strength meets joy. Welcome, welcome, Ariel. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me, Rita. I'm so happy to be here
Yes,
speaking
and
with you.
what a resume, what a bio. And I just wanted to read it all because it is so inspiring. And I'm just in awe of the things that you've been able to accomplish and continue to accomplish as well. So I'm just curious about your personal journey, and that's why we do these podcasts, just to share some of the challenges, the good things, and then share what worked for you, because you just never know who's listening and who you might inspire today after this conversation. So I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're super busy to be here with us today.
It
So,
means
as
a
a
lot to
woman,
me. So
oh,
thank you.
thank you. Yeah, I know. We connected at a women's event. Was it? Yeah, it was only women's event, and right away I just loved your story, loved your energy, and I was like, oh, I need to be friends with this woman. Like, she's just so amazing. So as a woman and as an athlete, what's shaped the mission that you're on today? Tell us a little more about that.
I've always been driven to kind of see like how far I could go with anything that I do, anything I set my mind to. And that's both in the family and out on in sport or with work. It's sort of like, well, if I see a hole where, I could do more, I kind of want to fill that hole and see, just test it out. And every time accomplish something that I put my mind to, I feel stronger and more powerful. And I love being able to share that with my kids, especially, and kids around me, and other moms too, and other women in general. In any situation, there's like a lot of power that we get from watching other people that are similar, but doing all these fun things and things that are often scary to people, right? And so when they say, well, like, I have a fear of that, but then you did it. And no matter what form that comes into, it makes you feel like, well, then I can do more. And so it's been really fun challenging myself and sharing that along with.
Yes, and so inspiring, like, to what when you're paddling there for hours, how do you stay motivated? I know part of it is the preparation, but how do you just, like, stay motivated? And obviously there's a passion there too, but tell us a little bit more what's going on in your head.
I often come back to the gratitude of it, the fact that like
Mm,
I'm so lucky to be able to be out here on the water, like that my family, my community has given me the time and I've given myself the strength to be able to be here. So I kind of focus on making the most of that time, even when it's like, longer than I hope or close to 6 hours. It's a lot of time, but it's a chance for me. Sometimes I listen to music and I kind of enjoy that quiet time. I like to it's kind of like people watching. You watch all the paddlers go by and kind of get to know some people on the water. And then anytime I'm struggling, I really connect back to that, but I'm so lucky to be here hurting.
mm,
Even when
mhm.
like my muscles are cramping up, but I give my muscles a little bit of love and think again back to like, I'm so grateful to be experiencing the good and the bad of this opportunity. And it kind of
Right.
keeps me motivated and excited to carry forward no matter.
So in your opinion, how much of it is more, you can give me a percentage, maybe physical versus mental when you're there, when you're in the thick of it?
I would say it's almost like a 40-60. Like I used to do all physical and I'm strong, so I've always done okay. But it wasn't until I starting to mature and other challenges in life that I've gone through and I've taken that strength into my mind internally. That's where I all of a sudden have a much bigger power. And so I'd say almost like 60% of that because your muscles get so used to doing whatever you train them to do that they'll just keep going. But it's your mind that easily takes you away or pushes you forward.
So
And the
so
belief,
amazing.
right? The
Yes.
belief that is within all of that to really be the why.
Yes, to have that. So do you think you can train yourself mentally for that so that, but as you mentioned, you had a mantra. So yeah, what are some things that you do to mentally prepare so that you are strong there, up there, or on there?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the last few years, a lot, especially young athletes, have a lot of coaches in all different aspects, whether it's, in their education and in their sport and all different sides to help them get through it. Even when there's challenges, you go see this specialist, but not many people look at a specialist for our mind or our breath, like yourself. But I've always kind of looked into people that are doing similar things and how they're doing it, reading their books and hearing their stories to learn what I can do. But as of recently, even a friend of mine, Kirsty, she has become a mental coach, so a mental training coach. So it's so cool that now this has become a thing where we're now getting a coach specifically to train our mind for that mental strength and endurance to go with our physical. And if you combine the two, you're so powerful.
So true. And how would you say visualization? Because I mean, visualization, I think when it first emerged, it was with tennis, because tennis is such a mental game at the end of the day, right? Just such an individual game as well. Yes, you have your coaches and stuff, but it's just at the end of the day, you are on the court playing, and I feel SUP is the same way, right? Yes, there's a team that you can go with, but that is individual performance. So, how has visualization helped you?
I feel visualization is sort of like that last little key that puts it all together.
Mm,
And there's particularly I had one race that was a world event in Peru. And the waves there are just amazing. They're beautiful, but they're very powerful and very scary. So even a friend of mine, she came out and she was one of the top paddlers in the world at the time. And we all went out for our first practice run and we went out in the water and I looked back and she didn't go. Like her board was smashed up. Just that initial thing, the waves hit you, board broke. It was crazy. Like I made it out and then I was like, I'm the only one that made it out. Everybody was on the beach because
wow.
the fear had gotten, too much. And then I thought, well,
Mm,
how am I going to get back? And so after that training, I thought, okay, well, I have the skill to do it. but I'm still nervous. And so how am I going to be able to get past that during my race? And so I spent time, and this is where that maturity comes in, because you take away time training physically, you go somewhere quiet and you focus on the mental side. So, okay, let me go through my race as many times as it takes until I can visually see myself completing my race the way that I want it to go. And that one, I'd see myself going through the whole race. And then every time I was coming in, I would hit like a block and I couldn't see myself finishing this race because the fear was still there. So I did it again and again and again until finally I, I made it through that mental block and I could see myself coming in successfully, running through the finish line, feeling powerful, feeling strong without the fear alongside. And so that's what I did.
Mm,
And since
amazing.
then, that's something I put in play in every race, in any challenge, even for today. Anything that's challenging you, a meeting, something with school, you get up and perform, anything where there's a bit of fear or like excitement that's kind of worrying you, then try and go through like a mental process of that. And now what I do is I put that mental into a physical often as well. So I'll take my race and sit on in the gym like a Bosu ball, and I'll go through my race. I'm not really paddling, but I'm going through it. But mentally, I'm going through my race. Or one time, I actually swam my silver medal race in a pool. And it was just like a little rectangle pool. And I thought, well, I'm going to go through this visually, but I'm just going to do something so my mind and my muscles and my mind are feeling combined. Does that make sense?
Wow.
It's really
Yes, of
fun
course.
actually to do.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Anytime we use your imagination, I mean, it's super fun, right? That's
Hmm.
why kids love it. And then I don't know what happens to us adults, but I'm in the business of helping people reconnect with that ability because it is so powerful. It's
And
super
play is a
powerful.
big thing about that, right?
Mhm.
And so like
Mhm.
that's what the great thing about sport in general is we get to play in the things that we love.
Mhm. That's
But
so true.
even when it comes to business, we find ways that we can add in a little bit of playfulness or like have some fun with our clients. So do something, or again, do something that makes it exciting for that mental. And then your body kind of gets in line easier because you're like, okay, I like this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pleasurable and when you want to do and you want to do it more of that. But you have proof that it works in terms of results too. So that's so powerful, so powerful. Speaking of challenges, Ariel, is there a pivotal moment in your life when you faced one, or maybe perhaps a setback, which was actually more of a setup? I like that. I like to reframe it as that, or maybe doubt, and what sort of pushed you through it or helped you get through it, overcome it?
I'd say on a more personal side, my one of my biggest challenges was when I was competing and I was almost at the point of going to the Pan Am Games, and I was the kind of the next in line. If the top girl from Canada didn't go, that would be me. But at the same time, I had been spending a couple years while I was building my strength. I was also trying to have a kid. And so I was
Mm.
trying to get pregnant all at the same time. And I thought, these are two very different goals. Both are so important to me, but I can't, one was trying to get pregnant, having a lot of challenges and having a lot of mental self-doubt because it's sort of like the one goal you can't really control. You can do everything you could try everything, but it's not your choice, right? It's you're lucky if it works, if that's what you want. And so I'm not good at just sitting back and, waiting for things. So that's why I thought, well, okay, I'm going to do these two things. And in my mind, I was like, neither one is really working out, but I'm so close to both. So I set like an internal goal that I'm going to do everything possible. And the race was going to be, I think it was in August, at beginning of August. And I said, one way or the other, one of these goals are going to work out. And my doctor at the time had basically said on my last thing, like, well, you just can't get pregnant like naturally. Sorry, it's just not going to happen, obviously. And I thought, like, you can't tell me I can't not do something, right? So I did everything in my power. And then what do you know, like 2 weeks before the race that I wasn't going to, that I really wanted to be at, I found out I was pregnant. And it was like such a cool thing to learn that not only like am I achieving my goal, get to do the thing that I wanted most of all, but it was the learning of like that belief in yourself and in the process that like I'm not going to take your word that this isn't going to work out, that I can't do something. I'm going to find a way. So that challenge actually pushed me through so much more mental strength in everything I've worked towards since, because I'm like, if I can do that, I can do anything,
So
right?
inspiring, and thank you. If anyone's listening, it's so true. I have so many stories of
So many women are
girlfriends,
going through,
women, yeah, saying, "Oh, getting the
couples, like
news that
it's
they'll
men and
never."
women, how we deal with these
True.
things.
Yeah, that they will
But it's
never
a
get
real,
pregnant.
it's a mental game of like, why can't I do this? And
Yes, yes, and in a healthy way, become very determined in a healthy way because you can go overboard about it as well.
hmm
And but yes, I know so many stories of women that have been told they couldn't get pregnant and then they did. And they have beautiful, beautiful babies and families now. So yes, it's definitely something to consider to take the health into your own hands and do what you can for sure.
yeah. And
So cool.
maybe it would have
Mhm.
gone the other way. I don't know. But the fact is that you learn that you are in control of how you
Yes.
feel about it, right?
Yes, and you have choice, and that's another thing, sort of a theme this week with my podcast is understanding that we always have a choice, and most of us are feeling sad, feeling down, maybe even depressed, and it's because we're just like in this victimhood, in this victim stage where this is all, happening to me and really, really sad about things and feel stuck that there isn't a choice. And this is why I love having conversations with incredible, inspiring women like yourself, because it does open up people's minds and sometimes hearts, oftentimes too, to the possibility that, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. Or if I am experiencing this, there's a choice for me that I can make to get out of it, do something differently, maybe do less of something, do more of something. So it's really, really, really powerful.
Yeah. And
So
honestly, I
men
think that
Mhm,
anytime you're making that choice, like if there's something in your life you can't control, we can only
mhm,
control the controllables. So if we put our
mhm.
energy into something similar, but something that's it can work hand in hand that you can control, that's going to bring you that joy. So like this isn't working, but at the same time, I can do this. I can go for walks every day and be in nature and feel better. It doesn't
Right.
matter what it is, but if you can find what you can control that makes you feel
Mhm.
good, that's huge.
Yeah, and then it's that little gate that opens for you, and then you just start feeling better, and you just start calling in a lot more positivity in your life. And not that we need
Mhm.
to be positive and this toxic positivity that's going on as well, but there's truth to that, to just looking at it. Because if we can imagine the worst, then we can definitely imagine the best
The
possibility
best.
too, right?
I love that.
So, yes, yeah, for sure. So many elite athletes, I'm sure, face burnout pressure or even performance fatigue. So, have you experienced any of these? Even though I just set up the question, but what were some of the signs? And how did you support yourself through this?
Okay, so I'd say a few years ago, or fast forward a few years after having my daughter, and I had been racing competitively for, again, over 10 years. And there's lots going on, lots of different challenges. Work was challenging, family life was challenging. And at some point, it was like one of the most beautiful falls we've had, where we always say, like, I hope it goes straight from like summer, warm fall into, and like, it's just extended out. And it was every day was stunning out there. And I was working away thinking like, I should be out going on the water. Like normally I would take this opportunity, this gift of this warm fall to paddle as much as possible. And I just didn't. I couldn't find like the motivation. And I was questioning, well, why don't I, why am I not making this effort? Or why don't I really feel that drive? So I thought, well, it's either, burnout or maybe, it's 10 years. Maybe it's just time for something different, right? Maybe. And so I spent kind of the winter not sure. I was right when I was about to turn 40. So it's like lots of change happening, lots of
Mhm.
transitions. And then I went away to Mexico to a place, Sayulita. It was beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
we went there with all my girlfriends for our 40th. And I was sitting there by the beach and I saw all these racers go out with their boards and they were doing a training session, like way down the beach. And they all paddled out. And honestly, like as soon as I saw them, my heart rate went up, my excitement went up, and I was like, I got to get there. So I ran all the way down the beach to them, had a big chat with them. I actually ended up joining their race, which was a couple days later. It was like their nationals, and I won for my age group. It was kind of crazy, but I realized I was like, I am not over this. Maybe that was
Yeah.
just a like a burnout slump. I just needed a break, and that's okay, right? We do need these times. We need to then focus inward, or take a break, do something different. Focus on yoga, focus on something different, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives you space to reignite that passion, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, right? But that was for
Yeah.
me. I realized, yeah, no, that was just a moment. I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah. So how do you, and I know I love that. And sometimes, we ask for signs. Sometimes we don't ask for signs, but they're given to us, and it's about being opened to receive it, right? And not ignore that. And had you reacted differently, that would have been another sign.
Exactly.
Right? Had you not run to them and see what they're up to, right? So, yeah, so cool. So, how do you balance being an athlete, a woman, a leader, and a human being with all of these responsibilities and then even competing? How do you balance all of this? Give us some tips.
I think the biggest tip is probably to ask for help, right? Because it's a lot on everything that we're all doing. Life is just going so fast these days that no matter what it is, it's a lot to handle, right? It's just we're overstimulated, we're overscheduled, it's just over everything, right? So um, you have to, I think it's important to look at, okay, what matters most to you? Where your passions really lie? And making sure that those things have precedence and they become very important in your day to day and you make time for them one way or the other. And like for me, my family, my training go hand in hand and they know, if I don't do this, I'm not a great mom. I'm not a great partner because I need that time. And so they support that. And they know, when I'm training, I have to leave and I'm away, especially when my kids were really young. It's hard for them,
Mhm.
but I made them a part of that process, right? So like, I need your help to be supportive and I need you to, cheer me on. And I asked them one time, can you like draw me a picture of showing me winning and my silver medal race? Like, because my daughter is in tears. Like, I need your help to fully give me support. Draw these pictures for me and show me, what you believe in me. And which was so powerful for me. And then they felt included. And so that kind of was a big win for me that time. But it's, making that time, but you can't really do it without asking for help and getting support from your community, your friends, your family, and um,
Mhm.
and then also just being understanding with yourself when it doesn't go the way that you want, right? Like sometimes we do all those things and we still run out of time and we don't make the
Mhm.
time and then we put effort into beating ourselves up. But that's
Mhm.
just life. Giving a bit of grace to also
Mhm.
understand that maybe this is how it was supposed to go, but all of a sudden this comes up and you just have to reset and replan and keep going, but not
Yeah.
giving up or not stopping because of a roadblock.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like you've touched on two major points that the women I've come across are very, I guess, embrace a lot in a negative way, which is I don't know why some women find it so difficult to ask for help. I don't know. What is your opinion on
Taught.
this? Is it because we're taught like we are mothers, right? And God, God bless them. They didn't know any better. They're
Yep.
learning from their mothers and
Super moms,
grandmothers.
right?
Yeah,
We're like, you're such a
exactly.
super mom. You know that there's that song, like you could balance all these things, but is that a good thing?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. So yes, breaking that pattern,
Hmm.
right? Probably ancestral pattern. And I love that you're doing that with your girls, right? I have a really good friend of mine, and when she has to work out, she tells her girls, it's mommy's workout time. So if you want, you can. She did the exact same thing. If you want, like included them, you can work out with me. So they're like, do because once I did it with her, and we were like, they're doing their ab works and so, which is so cute. Or you can wait till mom's done exercising. So just prioritizing and having them realize, hey, mom does have her own time too. But many times, Ariel, I hear women say, I'm not going to worry about me until the kids are out of the house. Or for now, it's my kids and, they're my priority. And it's just like, to me, yes, but you need to be in amazing health in order to provide 100% of yourself to your kids. So it's kind of a
mentally
catch
and
22.
physically, right?
Right,
And
right.
if
And
you don't make
yeah,
that space, then they don't learn to make that space for themselves.
exactly. And then the pattern continues, right? Of these self-sacrificing martyr super moms. And then the other one that you brought up that came to mind is the perfectionism. We're such perfectionists. Most of us are. And again, I think that's learned. It's a learned behavior from our mothers. And, not to blame them. It's just they did their best with the resources they had. I mean, they didn't have these podcasts to listen to, right? We do. We do now, our generation. So I feel like the perfectionism is a big thing too. And I always give this example. I had a woman that I used to work with. I was in my, I guess, early 20s. And she was like, Rita, one tip I'm going to give you. When you get married, don't care how your husband does the dishes, washes the floor, cleans up. It doesn't matter if he does it well, if he leaves streaks, if he just doesn't do it properly. Let him do it or let your partner do it. Because then it's going to be way too late to train them after years of being together. And, just let it go, let it go. And that's always stuck to me because most women that I know are like that. They're just like, oh, they're complaining about their partner doesn't do this and doesn't do it properly. And just like, no, no, just let them do it and just let it go. And it goes back to your point. If things don't get done your way or within that time frame that you had, um, and I give a very simple business sort of what I teach my business clients is do your to-do list, have your to-do list of tasks that you need to do, but please, we always put like a tremendous amount, like prioritize your top three. That if you get these done today, you'll be like, yes, I had a productive day. Because usually what happens, we put a whole list, we probably get one of them done or a few, and we just feel so bad about it. So I find that giving yourself grace for everything is just so powerful. It really is. And it goes back to the burnout too, right? It just
Yeah.
helps you to avoid
And
that.
I think that's really important right now for our youth to know that
Mhm,
because
mhm.
especially like we grew up one way, but they are going to be growing up with seeing just everybody in the world doing things so wonderfully because everything is social now, like social media, you can see everything. So but that they don't usually see what challenges people are having. They don't see people
Yeah.
failing, right? So I
Mm.
recently had a chat with one of my cousin's kids, and she's like a superstar. She's rocking it in like everything, whether it's sport, music, school. And I said, I'm so proud of you. It's wonderful. I said, but how would you feel if you got a C or, you didn't win. And it's like she never thought about it before. She was like, I probably would just quit everything. It's like,
Mm.
that is what we need to work on next, right? Because it's perfectly normal to fail at things. And it's not a fail. It just means like you're learning that we can't be perfect at everything. And that is part of the process. Like the failures or the times we lose or come in second or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Those are part of the journey, right?
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
they need to know that that's all okay and that's normal. And that's what actually makes you stronger,
Builds that
right?
resilience, right?
Not just
Yeah.
someone
So
who's always winning.
right, right. So how do you teach that to your girls? I'm just curious what you're doing. Because yes, when they came out with the ribbon during school that everyone gets a ribbon or something when you're competing, I don't know if they're still doing that, but I was just like, something about that does not make sense because in real life, you're not going to get a ribbon. You're just not like if you're not at the top, you're not at the top. So it was such an unrealistic expectation to set these kids up. And I love setting people up for success. And that with that is realistic expectations, right? So how are you doing it with your girls, making sure that it's okay to fail, right? It really is. And failure is feedback for me, right?
Yeah. Well, two little things. One, a girlfriend passed this down to me and I loved it so much. So I'm now using this with my daughter. She's 5 and saying to her, I love you so much. I'll never love you more and I'll never love you less. And at first you're like, she even has said to me, why wouldn't you love me more? And I said, well, I already love you with my whole heart. So I can't, like, it doesn't matter if you, do everything to try and impress me. It's not going to change the way that I love. So that way, hopefully she won't strive to perfection to get some kind of some validation from me because she already has it. So I'm hoping that might help. And with my son recently, he did a swim meet and it was his first one. And we said, just go try it out. And he had a challenge and he was in tears at the end. And myself and the other coaches were all like, you're so proud of you because you not only like you had this challenge, but you kept going and you learned this so young because he's 10. I'm like, if you can learn this now and keep going, then you're way ahead of, a lot of other people or especially your age, because it's important to learn that everything doesn't go our way and
Yes.
we're fine these challenges, but we don't give up. And so
Mm-hmm.
he's seeing that and that, we're so proud of him and almost more proud of him for that than if it went all well and he did well in it,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
hopefully he'll take that as, I don't need to be the best. I just have to try hard,
Try
right?
your best. Yeah,
And have
exactly.
fun,
Amazing.
enjoy it. That's the most important part.
Hmm. That's what they'll remember is that joy they felt.
And
Not,
hopefully, yeah, joy, love,
yeah.
support all together.
Yes. So tell us a little more about what are your top 3 recovery rituals. So after a competition, just some self-care practices that you do for yourself.
I really enjoy focusing and then on some yoga. So it's sort of like I feel like all the racing, everything I do is my yang, and I need the yin. So whether it's things I do almost all the time are a little bit of yoga or a lot of yoga, depending on where I'm at in my training, meditation, and I try and do
Mhm.
meditation before, but then again, always at the end of every race. And actually, try and do it every day because I think it's
Mhm.
very important to set every day up for success and
Mhm.
also be thankful at the end of the day. So the meditation, um, the yoga, and the other one that I've tried to do, worked really well last year, was just do one active thing every day,
Mhm.
and or one thing for yourself. So actually, the meditation would count as like you're still doing something, taking time out for me. And
Mm.
I tried that as
I
of
like
like
that.
January 2025. Like I'm going to do, I think it
Okay.
was I'll walk every day at this one. And then it was I'll run every day and then I'll swim. And then doesn't matter what it is. But I managed to keep it up for the whole 365 days and keep
Nice.
still going because I realized it made me feel so happy, relaxed, strong, and powerful to be like,
Mhm.
even if it's 5 minutes or if it's 4 hours, it doesn't really
Yes.
matter. I did something that was helpful for myself
Every day.
every day. Yeah.
That I
And
love.
honestly, sometimes when I had a crazy busy work day and I'm like getting home at like one time it was 11:55 and I jumped out of the car and I ran down the street for 5 minutes. My mom was in the car. She's like, "You're crazy." But I was
Yeah,
like,
it's that commitment, right?
yeah, I don't want to stop. And if it's just five
Yes.
minutes, but at least then I felt like, okay, I did it. Tomorrow's going to be even better.
Yes. Right, and you're on a roll because sometimes I find that when I'm on a roll and I'm doing my daily ritual and then all of a sudden I stop, it's so hard to get back. It's
Hmm.
so hard to get back into that
Hmm.
routine. And I love it because when how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you've committed to that and said you were going to do it and now it's just become part of your lifestyle, well, guess what? When you have another challenge that you set for yourself or a goal or something, it's going to come really easy and your brain will remember that, hey, you've done this before. You've committed to something and now it's part of your lifestyle. And that's exactly how we build these healthy habits. So I love that. That is really good. I'm gonna use that as part of my coaching. Thank you
You're welcome.
for
And
that.
honestly, I
Yeah.
think the main thing that
Mhm.
people always ask me, especially women, like, well, how many times are you training? How many times are you doing this? How much effort? And you're like, actually, it doesn't matter, right? I'm
Mm,
swimming
mhm.
or biking or running or paddling as many times as I can, but you can't do it all the time. You can't always be
Right.
perfect. So that's why it's like, but
Hmm.
if you give yourself the goal isn't that or like how many kilometers, it's just, did I do something? Yes. That's a
Right.
very easy thing to fill. Okay, I don't have time today. I'll do a little bit of yoga, 5 minutes of stretching. Doesn't matter. Like you feel power.
Yes. Well, you saw that the technique we did in the beginning of this podcast is literally, I think I did 2 minutes. It doesn't
Exactly.
take long to just
Everybody
quiet the
has two
mind.
minutes to
Yes,
say, I
exactly.
did something for me today.
Yes. And then I love habit stacking. So I often teach my clients habit stacking, which is if you're already doing something, just stack on top of that. So if you want to take that minute, a few minutes yourself while you're scrolling on your phone, that's okay too. But maybe do a breathing technique while you're doing that. So you're helping your nervous system relax, even though you're looking at, stuff that may not be as relaxing. But yeah, so a habit stack so that it's not another thing you need to do on your to do list. It's you're already doing it, stack this habit with that. So I like that. That's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing. And that's why I love these conversations. I just get so much out of them myself. So, as a woman in sport, there's definitely pressure to be harder, tougher, stronger all the time, right? So, I'm curious, have you found ways to honor your feminine energy or intuition in your sport? And how? How are you doing that?
It's a tough one for me because I've always been connected to that stronger, like that's how I see myself, right? So
Mm,
I
nice.
I started off as when I was young in martial arts, and that's when I started to feel like truly myself was like, I am strong and capable and I can do all these things. And but
Mm,
when I think about the feminine side, the interesting thing is that the sport, especially in competition, brings out my most emotional side. So it's the only place that I tend to like break down and cry, whether it's like sadness or joy. And
mm,
it's a really common place where you bring your fellow competitors or your fellow friends and supporters together with a lot of physical appreciation. So that's you get the most like hugs and kisses and like, just this, all this, connection that sometimes we're lacking a bit of. And so it's interesting that the competitive side, which we think is very like powerful and strong and whatnot, is actually the most soft and supportive
mm,
at the same time. But outside of competition, I try every day just to like stop for a little bit and give my kids a big hug. Or when I had my dog, like just those big, like so strong hugs to my dog and be like, I just love you. And like that kind
mm,
of moment of affection, I think goes a long
mhm.
way.
Yes, it does for sure.
And I think
And
that's
it's
important, male or female, right? Because I know
yes,
it's something even
one
my husband needs even more than me, but it's
mhm.
the kind of thing I think the more we share, we're embracing that. Uh,
Yeah, it's so true.
that's
And we need both as well. We need that masculine and feminine energy and men same, right? They need to balance. Most men are need to balance, but not all men. But yes, we but definitely need both of that energy. Love honestly, if I don't have kids, but if I had a kid, for sure I'd put him into the taekwondo or any martial arts as a child. It's just every time I hear people like very successful people, they've had some sort of martial arts training early on. It's just such a beautiful way. And even breathing connects you to your breath, just connects you to your body, respecting your body, competition wise, teamwork, just overall in general, I would highly recommend just putting your kids into some sort of sport. 'Cause then that habit or it never really goes away, then you kinda still are into it or yeah, I love that. Would you
and
what are you recommending your kids do?
oh yeah, they're definitely into martial arts as well. And it's something like I learned so much self-control
Yeah.
and so much self-appreciation. I learned a lot
Mm.
mentally
Mhm.
from martial arts and
Mhm.
and I did it with my father. And for me that was really important because we
Mm.
learned it together. So it
That's so
wasn't
cool.
something he was teaching me, it's something we could do together. So it's interesting because now that I feel that that's something I can do, my son actually does it now with his dad because I'm like, I don't want to be the one teaching him, right? I want him to be doing it. Now they can kind of do that same thing together.
I love
But
that.
it's really powerful. And I think that more so than kids, for sure kids, but I think it's really important as well for women to go do some kind of martial arts self-defense training. And whenever I join, and whenever it comes up, I always do it. even though, I don't necessarily feel like I need that training because I have it instilled now, but I love being around women who are learning that and the power
Mm.
that they feel when they realize that they can do anything and they can, they're powerful enough, regardless of size, regardless of training or not. It's so powerful and it's so um, confidence building that I think it's very important. It's like a life skill, like you learn to swim if you're going to be around water. And if you're going to be in a city or on your own anytime, which is everybody, you should learn a
Hmm.
little bit of self-defense so you feel confident and
Yes.
it won't stop you from trying new things.
Yes, I love that. And you just you reignited because I still want to, and I'm going to do this because you reignited this in me now to do a self-defense workshop for women. So maybe, yeah, stay tuned. Yes, definitely. We
Let me
kick
know the
ass
date.
and then yeah, we do some kicking ass and then we do some breath work to like integrate that and chill out. Something along those lines. Because I actually met a lady that does self-defense training. So I've wanted to do that for the longest time. So thank you for reminding me and igniting that. I appreciate it.
And for any of the women listening who are like, oh, I can't do that or whatnot, all the doubts come in. The last one I went to, the best thing she said is, if you've ever seen a toddler or a 2-year-old having a tantrum and how much force they create and like pain and disruption and like that's all you need to do. If a 2-year-old can do it, they can protect themselves simply from having a crazy tantrum. So like, it doesn't matter if we're
Yes.
like 4'3", right? If we decide can do something, we will do it. We're very powerful.
Hmm.
Women in general have so much internal power that if we put that out there, we can do anything.
Mm. Oh, that's so beautiful. I totally agree with you for sure. So, what advice, Ariel, would you give a young woman in sport today?
Um, the biggest thing I think I would try and teach a young woman, other than how that it's okay to fail, as we talked about before, but is the importance of finding your passion and putting it first. And as women, we tend to, for generations, let others' goals come ahead of us. um,
Mm.
let other friends kind of guide our way. Like, I want to try that, but nobody will do it with me. And so, I'll wait until somebody will come. But I think if you could do anything young, it's just learn to be okay following your own path, even if that's by yourself. And making sure that once you find that passion, that you put it as your number one thing and you protect it. You protect your time, you protect your passion, you protect um, the importance that it holds for you, regardless of what anybody else wants to do.
So beautiful. That's so beautiful to have that identified, hold on to it, prioritize it no matter what's going on in your life, even though things need to be rearranged or reorganized on how you do things, just hang on to it. Because I was talking to a psychologist friend of mine, there's a reevaluation of life that happens in and around your 70s, so a little later in life where you just are like, what did I do all this for? Or sometimes it happens as early as when we go into menopause.
Hmm.
And because that's when we're sort of reevaluating our life then too. And I've seen it with my mom. She's just like, you know what? I did so much for you guys. She did everything for us. She was amazing. She still is amazing. But now she's like, you guys cook for me.
Hmm.
So she like refuses to like make those big meals and for that there was always something in the fridge. It was always whenever you entered my house, it had smelled so lovely. It was either a cake she baked or like an amazing lasagna. Like there were always leftovers, always something in the fridge because that's all she was doing, just cooking for us. Family of four, we all had a big appetite. And now she's just like, nope, you guys do it for me. And it's that reevaluation of life where she's done so much for us that now, yeah, we give back. So I like that. But that didn't come with, her own sort of health journey. And I'm sure a lot of the physical aches and pains were due because of that resentment that she did everything for us. And what did she do for herself? And she's got this beautiful voice, Ariel. She should have been an opera singer and never pursued it because of different things in life. And Yeah, it's just for, and if there's one message that we both would like women that are listening to this is find your joy and find that passion now so that you can continue when your kids do leave the house, right? And you're an empty nester, or when, things get a little better and you have even more time to dedicate, but just building that foundation now. So thank you. That's beautiful. Beautiful
Your
that
mom
you
sounds
shared that
amazing.
with.
But
Yeah.
it definitely is, it's our responsibility as women to, that's why I prioritize that, because when we look
Mhm,
back and we think, well, why didn't I do those things? Or why didn't I become a singer? Or why didn't I become an artist? Or why didn't I just
mhm,
at least continue doing the things that I love? And we
mhm,
tend to like
mhm.
naturally look outwards and say, well, these were the reasons and these are the people that stopped me. But really, who stopped you? You got to
Yeah.
look inside and be like, well, I chose something different, but you could
Mhm.
still choose to bring it back in at any point, right? So if you felt like
Yes.
you've lost it now and you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I should have.
Mm.
Well, now's the perfect time, right?
Mhm. It's never too late, right? You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Maybe you were meant to have that sort of pause in order for you to appreciate it even more today or now. So, yes, I love that. That's why I love having these conversations, just these beautiful tips and realizations, insights that come up for both of us and whoever's listening. So, it's so beautiful. So,
I'll tell
where
you,
do you
Rita,
think Yeah.
when you come into my house and you look in my fridge, I am not there's all this amazing food and lasagnas. You're like, oh, that's it. It was
No, but
like, we're
even
busy.
for me. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she was busy too making all that food. It was just a different
Exactly.
generation. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, if I was home, I think that's all I love baking. I love cooking. For me, it's therapeutic. I love feeding people. I love watching people's reaction. Did you like it? Did you not like it? How can I make it better? Although when I make a recipe, I never make it the same because I just don't follow the recipe.
that's
And I don't
awesome.
remember, did I
That's the
add more of this?
creativity.
Yeah. But when people are like, oh, I really like that. I don't know, your version of ratatouille. Can you do it again? And I'm like, which vegetables did I put in? Or like, how much stock? I don't know. It's just funny that I can't follow a recipe. But yes, it's a different generation. So don't compare for sure. That's another thing, comparison as well. It's like we're all in different stages, different seasons of our lives. And yeah, just to honor that. But I do love that assessment. If there's anything that you can do maybe immediately is assess what brings you joy and see how you can bring that in. And maybe it can be that one thing you do for yourself every day that we talked about earlier, right? In terms
Yeah.
of that.
Find
And
something
yeah.
small and go with it, and it'll become big.
Mhm. Yes. So, in your opinion, what is the future of women's sports? Where do you see it heading, and what's sort of exciting you about it?
Well, just coming from the recent Olympics, it was so powerful to see
Mm,
all of the Olympians at their best. And what I stood out to me is that I don't know if this is just because this is what I saw, but even watching TV, it was all the women rocking it. And the amount of photos from afterwards is a lot of the female athletes dominating, and how joyful they feel at the end of that. And I think that I was part of a movement in my own sport, stand-up paddleboard racing, where it was all about equality. And it wasn't initially like we were on different equipment. You'd have mostly men,
mhm,
a few women. The prize money wasn't the same. There was a lot of things that were like stand out in equal, which is consistent, which carries forward as we go. But I hope that transition will continue to have
mhm,
a more of a balanced playing field. And when it comes to funding, especially for athletes and young athletes, that's equal. And then when we're looking to, who are we going to be watching? I hope that we're seeing everybody. Personally, my favorite is when we see everybody together. I know you got your female and your male, but when you read my bio, I always like to say, well, how did I do in my class? But really, how did I do overall? Because that's what matters the most to me, is not so much, well, in this niche, but I like to be able to have athletes work regardless of gender, working together. And especially as that gender line is no longer one or the other, like that's expanding as we go. So why can't our sports expand so we can continue to do what we love, but just do it all together, right? So,
mhm,
and if it is separate for things like the Olympics, then make that as balanced as possible.
mhm. Yes, I agree. So that you
So,
set everyone up on
Yeah.
the same level playing field. Give everyone
Equal
that opportunity.
opportunities. Hmm.
Yes. It's funny because we're seeing this in business too, right? With careers,
Everything.
access to boardrooms, right? And it's just,
Medical support, like
hmm yeah,
wage,
even,
in every aspect you look and you're like, we're always
yes.
kind of being pushed down. So that's the whole point of like, we'll lift ourselves back up, right? Uplift her.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And even a lot of the research, Ariel, that we come across, like even the research I use, I have to keep in mind that a lot of it is missing women specifically. And we're a lot more complex than men, and I mean that in the best, most respectful way, because of our hormonal shifts that happen in the
Hmm.
month, like within a month, right? We're not the same person throughout those 28, 30 days. So there's a lot of research that's lacking that consideration. And yeah, that's really sad. And I just really do hope that there's more of it and there's more focus of it as well, because we're giving the same protocols and the same prescriptions, as based on the research, but the research was not done specifically for women. So lots of
Agreed.
side effects, right, that we're not accounting for. hmm So, what is your legacy, Ariel? What do you hope to leave behind for your kids, your children, and everyone else around the world?
If I could leave behind anything, I think it would just be the joy of life. And
Mm,
the main thing that all the things that I've done so far and all the things I hope to do, it makes me feel like I'm truly living every moment that I can,
mm,
right? And
mm,
who knows how long that will last because that's not guaranteed. But what I can do right now, I can. Like, I can and I am. So I try and do
mhm,
that no matter what I'm doing, and pass on to the kids or the young athletes that I work with to, just if you're curious of something, go do it. If you don't know how to do something, ask. Just try, right? And the more we try, the more we do, the more experiences come up, all these opportunities, and it's that little ball of snow just becomes huge. And at some point, like even at this point now, I'm early 40s, and I feel like I've lived a very full, lucky, great life, and I'm very grateful for it. And I just want to continue to do more because there's so much more to do and so many more people to meet, so many more people to impact and to impact me. And so if I can leave anything, it would be to, you know, don't wait and just start going, right? Say yes.
mm. Yes, because you just never know what comes out of it, right? And just, yes, in terms of that experience, where it might take you, where it's going to lead you to. So, yeah,
Yeah,
super, super
you'll grow
powerful.
to that goal, right? You'll figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. We'll expand and we'll find a way. But
Mm-mm.
if we wait, then we know what we're getting. Like we know it'll pretty much stay where we are now, and we're
Yeah.
missing out on a lot.
So how and you're like, I'm not sure how it works with retirement, and you're probably not even thinking about it anytime soon, but most athletes will always, I don't know, I guess it's better to retire at the peak of your performance, or a lot of the tennis players do, right? And then yeah, how are you going to know? Well, the good thing is too, if you tell your brain it's time to retire, then physically you'll start, like, obviously not being as the performance will suffer. So it's such a mental game, and this is proven actually. Once we start telling our brain that we're getting old, so I refrain from saying all of that I'm feeling some arthritis because I'm feeling old. No, I refuse to say all that, because your body will listen, and then it'll start, yeah, doing its thing, its biological thing. So yeah, I'm just curious. Do you have something in mind, or you're just gonna like kind of ride the wave?
Well, I think setting a plan for like a retirement probably comes from sports where you're paid. Because like that changes quite a lot. In sports, like everything that I do, I'm paying to do it. It's something that I love and I can continue. So why should I slow down? Like honestly, the first year I decided, I even thought mentally that maybe I should try and join Team Canada. Was right after I had my first child, which is literally had a baby in my arms, and someone said, "Well, I think I might try for this," and I was like, "Well, why can't I then?" And so, but before that, it never even dawned. Like I never thought, I didn't have the confidence that that's something that I would be doing. And then built some strength and some mental, a lot more mental strength, and realized like, well, why not? So like that was my 30s. So 30s, it was like, let's change where we see what we can do. And in my 40s, that's where I won my first silver medal. And now I'm like,
Mm.
well, now I gotta keep going for gold. That's my goal. But the fact is that throughout all those, as I'm aging, I actually feel like I've been leveling up, right? And I love when I track my HRV because it actually shows like your athletic age or your fitness age. And I love seeing my calendar age go up and my fitness age go down. So sometimes I tell someone like, "How old are you?" Well, I feel I'm like 20, you know. I'm actually getting younger. And to your
Yes,
point,
so
if
cool.
we think it, then we can do it, right?
Hmm.
So even as a kid, I was a snowboarder and I thought, I'm going to snowboard until I'm 93. And that was always my goal. And I don't know where that number came from, but I'm
Mm.
sure that we'll do it. But even that, I'm like, was I limiting myself?
Yeah, right. Or you could change your mind.
But I
Yeah.
think I don't have any plans to stop, just to continue expanding. So what I've been doing since I turned 40, so the last couple of years, every year I've been adding in something new that I've never tried before, that challenges me, something that's hard. And every year I set it and I complete it, and then I push to the next thing. So this year
What is
I'll
it
be
this
doing my
year?
first half Ironman. And
Yes,
so we'll
right.
see, we'll see how that goes. Like,
Wow.
it's out of my realm while still training. It can be a lot, but it doesn't really matter what it is. But I think setting something new also helps keep you young, because you have to learn,
Yes.
you have to
Hmm.
grow to that goal.
Yeah. Yes, I've always wanted, so I love dancing. I love electronic music, but I'm like, I can't be, doing that rave style music forever, right?
Why
So
not?
I need something else. Or maybe, but yeah, I don't know about that. But so I was like, okay, I want to do like ballroom dancing or salsa dancing or bachata, like
Hmm.
Latin dancing, because that you can do forever. And it's so good for your brain too, to help your brain stay young. And that cross body workout that you do, learning new thing, like you said, it's so great for
Yes,
neuroplasticity, creating those new
yes.
neural pathways. So keeping your brain nice and young. I love that. What are you measuring your HRV with? Which wearable?
I have a specific, like a finger one that goes on, that's by
Oh, okay.
Elite HRV. Um,
Okay.
but now I just got a new Garmin watch, and it's
Okay.
also measuring it, which is nice because
Okay.
then it's doing it all the time.
All the time.
And
Yes.
then I've been doing some training to train my VO2 max and see where I am
Mm-hmm.
there. And so all these things kind of all fit together to prove. It's hard to know, is my watch accurate? But then when you see a few other things, you're like, well, it's pretty good. And it
Yeah.
gives you immediate feedback, which is really
Mhm.
powerful for that. Like, okay, I'm on the right track for the mental.
Yeah. So I had somebody here talk about I guess it's a kit, and it's called Age Rate, and you can listen to the podcast on your platform, your favorite platform, and you can actually, I think it's saliva based. I can't remember now. Yeah, or blood. I can't remember. And it tracks your biological age. Yeah. So you
So
can
cool.
actually tell what's going on inside. So it's really cool. And I love to do it pre and post, like before the protocol, do the protocol, and then see if there's a difference after the protocol. But I'm curious, before this slips my mind, when you said confidence, and that's again something that women, or at least the women I've come across, including myself, is something that we definitely struggle with. And the example I like to give is that I used to be in HR in a previous life, my previous career before I got into the wellness space. And so doing the research, coming across research, and it's still probably valid today, women will not apply for jobs they feel underqualified for, right? They need to be certain that they can do the job, or else they won't apply for it. Men on the other side, on the other hand, yeah. Yeah. I used to come across some resumes and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why did you even bother to apply? And then obviously this whole
They get the
AI.
job.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just that confidence that they have, like, I can do this, even though I've never done it, or, and it just, and I'm sure a handful of those, like, were fooled the recruiter and were hired. So in your opinion, or maybe give us some tips in terms of confidence, how can we build more? Is it something that we are born with, or is it something that we can definitely nurture throughout our life? And what are some tips that really worked for you?
I think to build confidence is definitely something that you can build yourself. And sometimes we're born with it, but other people break it down. And so, it does, I think it's something whether you have it naturally or not. Um, I find that adding little goals, that like little achievable SMART goals all along the way, every time you succeed in even the smallest thing, it builds that confidence. So like, okay, well, I tried this one thing. I tried a new recipe that's out of my comfort, but I did it and it worked out good. So now I can add something else and add something else. And again, I think if you're constantly moving along that path of achieving something new, every single time it's something you don't know. So where you're not going to wait until you know it because you've already now learned the process of every other time it's succeeded, or even if it doesn't succeed, it leads you to the next phase. So um, it's the confidence goes along with belief, right? So you need to. One of my favorite books is the idea of you dream it, you see it mentally, you believe it internally, and then you achieve it in
Mm.
any point, any aspect of life. And every time we go through that process, that belief and that confidence just builds.
So you know what I would add? You breathe it and then you believe it. So you
Yeah.
embody it, or you believe it and then you breathe it so that you can really embody what that feels
Hmm.
like. And that's what we do with breathwork integration coaching is we bring in the breathing part before we go into the coaching process so that you can really embody. And I've seen some incredible results with myself when I went through it and then also with my clients. So I like that. Yeah, that's great. That's really good tips for sure. And it's just something that we all need to work on. And do you think that we need to continue working on our confidence? Or is that something that, all right, I'm confident, I'm good. And then it just kind of stays with us. But I do, and you might answer this, I do like that what you said, that we could even just have it and then somebody comes along and just breaks it down. So,
Like when I was a little kid, I was really loved baseball too. And someone important to me said, "You're not better than anybody else. Don't think that you're better." And I'm like, okay, well, I thought I was doing pretty good, right? And surprising, not surprisingly, after that, I started to not be very good at baseball, right? Like my skill level started to go down and I tried something new and it was challenging. And so my
mhm.
confidence in myself was gone. By the time I went to high school, I was on like no sports teams. And I was like, this is crazy because I see myself as an athlete, but I'm not getting that reassurance from other people. And again, that whole point of like, I was following friends around, doing what other people want, and then realizing it took a while, but then realizing like, I need to do what I want to do
Mhm.
regardless. And setting achievable goals so that I can build that back up. And it's just a small little thing, but sometimes it's a big things that people push you down intentionally. Sometimes it's totally unintentionally. That person, I'm sure, was just trying to teach me that we're all equal, which is also valid. But you take it in
Mhm.
different ways. So no matter where we're at in our career and our life, something's going to come along and push you back down. But it's the resilience that we learn along the way to get back up and be like, that's
Mhm.
okay. I'm never going to stop building my confidence because it can never be too much because it's truly your belief in yourself. And how can that be too small? Right.
Yes, yes. Keep growing it. Keep believing it for sure. So we're going to get a little personal here. And what's one rule in sport or maybe in your training that you've joyfully broken on your way to finding what works for you?
Back to your point earlier, it's the limitations, age limitations.
Mhm.
When I had my first child, my mom said to me, "Well, maybe you should be done racing now because now you're a mom, right?" And I said, "No, like not at all. I actually now want to do more. Now I want to go to the worlds, and actually, I need your help to watch my child." But and and I asked for help and she said yes and it was possible. And
Mm,
so I learned pretty quickly that like, well, there's that didn't stop me. And as I'm getting older, I feel stronger, I feel more capable, I'm doing more. I look at athletes that are much older than I am and they're still going. So when I'm out on the water, I think to myself, like, I have so much more time to continue honing my sport and getting better and pushing myself further and getting stronger. That those limitations that we grew up thinking we should just let them go right away. Even as
Mhm.
a child, I always thought, well, look at my family. I'm probably not going to be very fit. I'll probably be like maybe heavier. I have some challenges, like physical challenges, just based on history. And then you're like, but why? But this is my life. I have control over it. And, you know, so I do what I like to do every single day because it matters to me, even if there's no competition, even if I become, the slowest person out there, I'm still out there. I'm still doing what I love and what makes me feel great. So that limitation hopefully will just continue to move up. So that one's been
Mm,
fun to get rid of.
right? Yes, I love that. And you're so right. A lot of people blame their genetics, right? And really, they say that genetics plays maybe a 40% role in disease and disease formation, right? And I think for some, it's even lower than that. And it's really about, and that's why when they do twin studies where they have the same genes and they have different outcomes based on their lifestyle and their lifestyle choices. So, again, choice, that word comes up. You definitely have a choice to not allow those genes to be expressed. And this is where I laugh. A lot of people are like, oh, diabetes runs in the family. It's like, no, it's actually the lifestyle that causes or that is tied to diabetes that runs in the family. So
So
it's
break
having
away
that
from what your
choice.
family's doing, do something different and see how that works,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
Everybody
Yes.
eats one way, try changing it. If everybody sits and watch, spends their free time sitting still, well, try and do something where you're moving,
Move.
right?
Hmm. Exactly.
Dance.
Yes, that's always fun. So if you could have lunch with any female athlete or leader, past or present, who would it be and why?
This one I'm not sure if anyone's going to know, but one of my favorite surfers from Australia is Lane Beachley, and I would love to sit down with her. When I was maybe in my 20s, I happened to get to watch her compete.
Mm,
And I'm not one to like stop and ask for a photo, but I did because I was like, I was so touched by the way she performed, but not because she was exceptional at what she did, which she is, but because she was out there competing head to head. She was, I think, even at that time in her 40s, probably
wow.
40s. And she was out with one of the rising stars who was probably maybe 20. And she was the new reigning champion and the past reigning champion competing head to head, and it was such um, a fun competition to watch because they're battling back and forth. But when it was all said and done, honestly, I can't tell you who won because it didn't matter. They came in on a wave and they held hands coming in, being like, "We did this together." And
Cool.
I was just so moved that you could, you can be understanding that you want to be the best, but you also want to pass on the knowledge so that the next people are even better than you. And that's how we leave that legacy and we empower the women around us. So I would
Mhm,
love
yeah.
to hear her thoughts.
Well, start manifesting,
Hmm.
and you'll be able to meet her for sure. I actually met 2 of my wellness heroes and over the last 2 weeks, and it's just been incredible. One, I was a bit surprised, the saying, "Don't meet your heroes," because 'cause you'll be kinda taken back. So that was definitely one of them, but the other one, I was so happy, and she was just incredible, the exact same person that you see on her YouTube videos, and yeah, Barbara O'Neill, just incredible, and I got to MC her event, got to do
That's
some breath
amazing.
work before everyone, grounding, some sound healing with my bowls, and then I got to energize everyone after lunch. It was just so incredible. And that's why I'm saying, dreams can definitely come true because I've been watching her for years now, and to actually have that opportunity to open her event was like a dream come true for me.
It's
So yeah,
huge.
never stop
Congratulations.
dreaming. Thank you. Yes, thank you
Exactly.
so much. Yes. So, if you can give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
I think I touched on this one, but I think the main thing would be just get going. Don't wait for others.
Mhm.
Like you can do it, and you have what it takes.
Mhm. And that's exactly the formula that you used to get to where you are today. Yeah, super amazing. So, what does success mean to you right now, Ariel? Beyond the medals, the rankings, or the podiums?
Success, really, when I think about it, is about living life to the max and doing everything that I can imagine when it comes into my mind, just giving it a try. And so the medals along the way are fantastic and the sports, but it's really the people that I meet along the way that help to shape that direction. And so when I imagine, well, what do I want to feel successful in my life? I actually think I already am. Because
Hmm.
every day I feel like I'm making the most and connecting with joy in my life and the people and the places. And I just want to do more of it. And if I do, then I'll be even more successful.
Yes, for sure. So what's on your athletic bucket list? What's your next sort of move, immediate, and then maybe 10 years from now?
In the next couple months, my challenge for 2026 is the half Ironman. So
When is that
it's
happening?
in July. So it's
Wow.
going to be up
Okay.
in Muskoka early July, and it's kind of right out of my realm. But I worked a little bit towards it, so I'm excited for that one. And I feel like that will really strengthen my mind to be able, my mind and my body to be able to then refocus on Worlds this year is in Italy in October. And so
Where in
I am
Italy?
determined to come back for that gold. So
Nice. Where in
yeah.
Italy? Which part?
It was supposed to be in Sicily, but it got moved because of a storm. So it is in,
Would
let
it
me
be
try to remember.
Sardinia?
I just learned like 2 days ago where it was. I was looking it up, but it's in between Rome and
Like
just south of
Naples?
Rome.
South of
So
also it's
south
like
end.
near the Amalfi Coast
Hmm.
then, right? Oh, cool. Wow. Amazing.
And it's
Oh,
in a
that's
spot
really
where there's like a piece of land coming out and you have water on both sides. So maybe you know it
wow.
is. And it looks
Yeah.
incredible. So
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's probably like Capri, maybe. Like but it's really populated. But anyway, yeah, that's gorgeous. Amazing. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. So that's happening in October.
that one's October. So
And
that's sort of my
anything
2026. And then future,
wow.
I hope to do
Yeah.
the full Ironman. I
Wow.
had set when I would hit 40, I was like, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to do an Ironman.
Wow.
Not sure why, but that's what I just decided. But then I thought, well,
Hmm.
why should I wait till I'm 50? I should just do it
Yeah.
now. So I guess 2027 will probably be
The full
as long as
Ironman.
all goes well. Hopefully, I will have accomplished, or I plan to accomplish the half, and then the gold, and then the full, and then maybe something completely different. Who knows?
Well, those are
Hmm.
amazing goals. And I no doubt in my mind that you'll be able to accomplish them. So,
And I hear
yes.
your 50s is when you're the best for martial arts and boxing. So I'd always planned in my 50s, I'm going to become a boxer again and go compete in Thailand
Right? Why
in Thai
not?
boxing. Like,
Why not? So cool. You're such a cool woman. So, these are fun, rapid fire questions. So, don't overthink them. We're just really wrapping up the podcast here right now. So, one word to describe you as an athlete.
joyful.
Yes, I love that. That's been a very, very strong theme in this conversation today, for sure. So, if your racing style were a dance move, what would it be?
Let's say the merengue.
Ooh, love it. So, early morning training or sunset sessions?
Sunsets are my favorite.
Pre race ritual. What is it? Music, meditation, or hype mode?
Meditation. Just
Ocean, lake, or river paddling?
all of the above, but ocean is she's my favorite. Magic.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Full of surprises, the ocean. So, that's probably a challenge that you'd take on.
Love it. Plus all the amazing animals that pop out. Just
Yeah,
so
yeah. Post-race meal, pizza or pasta?
cool.
Mhm.
Pasta with ice cream. It's usually the
Yes,
sweet. Like I could skip that and go straight to ice cream.
it's so funny. Well, you're gonna have an amazing time eating in Italy. Did you actually, it was funny because I watched the Italian news and they were showing the athletes just like overjoyed about the quality of food in the cafeteria. They're just like, wow, this is the food that these guys eat like every day and it's cafeteria food. Can you imagine like restaurant food? And it's just like,
It's gonna be
so
so good.
The Italian news was actually making like a bit of fun out of it, like fun, because it's like, but what are these people eating? Like, in other countries, we do pride ourselves in making sure that every single
It's
establishment.
fresh, it's delicious, it's healthy,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
filling,
it
and like
tastes good.
everything we need.
So you can definitely have your pasta and your gelato afterwards, for sure. So if you were a piece of sporting equipment, what would you be and why?
I would definitely be a surfboard so that I can just flow through the waves.
Mm,
It's so nice to be on it, but it's so amazing to be under the water.
so true, yes. So what's your oddly specific athletic superpower? Like always getting perfect water conditions or reading the wind shifts?
When I go out to do my training sessions, they're usually like kilometer based
Hmm.
or time based, but they're always loops. And I tend to go out. Doesn't matter if it's like a 2 hours or 2 kilometers. I always tend to make it back to where I start at exactly the time I needed to be, or that
Mm,
exact distance. And it's always like, that's kind of cool. I don't know why it's a superpower, but it just happens to work out. So I'll take that.
see. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So if you could instantly master one new skill just like that, mental or physical, what would it be?
Um, Two things. Mental, I would become a morning person. I love to be up and full of energy. And I'm working on it. But and then physical, I would love to be more flexible, just to
Hmm.
be able to, really be able to move my body without limitation.
And those are
Again, working
both,
on that one too.
yeah, very doable with some extra yoga. And I find yin yoga is so powerful when it comes to getting into those deeper fascia layers.
And your
So
breath
then,
work,
yeah,
huge.
exactly. So then it allows you to reconnect even deeper during the yang versions of it. Yes. Okay, so if you could gift every woman listening one thing, this is the last question, a mindset, a habit, or a piece of wisdom, what would it be, Ariel?
I would say go out and find your passion today. Figure out what it is if you don't already know. If you already know, then make sure it becomes your number one. And if you're not sure and you can't answer that question, I say, what's your passion? Then really think about it and find it. There's so many things out there. So just find what really fuels you and then follow it and see where it'll take you.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing journey, your inspiring journey. Super motivating what you've done, what you're planning to do as well. Wow. And just taking the time to share those tips and recommendations and those insights. I am sure someone out there just got super inspired, and you've inspired me to do a few things differently. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to do this with me. I so appreciate you. Love you, sister.
Love you too. And thank you for all that you've done to help me on my journey. It's been incredible. You and all the people around you with USANA and your breathwork, it's just incredible. Everybody's been so supportive and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. Have yourself a beautiful day. Ciao for now. Mwah.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self Care Goddess podcast. If today's episode inspired you, share it with another woman who's ready to reclaim her vitality and lead from within. To continue your journey, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me on ritasavoya.com. Until next time, remember, self care isn't selfish, it's your superpower. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and keep rising. Ciao for now.